songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
You're truly helping people. You're making an impact on youth work, and that alone is, you want to make a difference. You learn that it's about relationships, whether it's with the community, your staff, and you're just constantly making an impact in their lives.
All right, we are live again with our 482nd episode with the Daily Parks and Rec Show and the family of shows that we produce every week. I was just talking with offline with our guest today, Anthony Papa, all the way from Minneapolis Park, about how many shows we produce. And we're actually producing, between our reruns and our live shows, 28 hours of content every single week, with the aspiration to have 24/7 programming all about parks and recreation, similar to what you see on ESPN when you have sports enthusiasts that want to watch some type of sport. We want to have the same thing for the Parks and Rec community, highlighting all the careers, the leaders, and just the vast amount of work that goes into the park systems of America, and the cities, the counties, the towns, even the state parks and some of the federal parks that keep our country beautiful. And for those that haven't, and I'm not even counting the federal parks, but just the city parks, we kind of stopped counting, rough back of the napkin calculation. Did you know that there's about $10 trillion worth of real estate under management by the park systems? And that's roughly 350,000 Americans that call parks and recreation home as a career path. And I can't get over how little known is about what it does. And I'll give you all a great little story and example. I went on a ski trip with some college friends of mine in Utah. Shout out to all my people listening from Utah, a great state, and hopefully we can attend their association next year. They just had theirs a couple of weeks ago. But I was telling them what I did, and Parks and Rec people are probably used to hearing this. They're like, what do you do, cut grass and put on soccer tournaments? And it's so much more. They didn't realize that they run the senior centers, they run the farmers markets, all the special events, from the Easter egg hunts, 4th of July celebrations, and in addition to maintaining the parks and the aquatic centers and the community centers, and then even the performing arts. And did you know a lot of Parks and Rec departments run STEM programs for after school care? They run performing arts, whether it's dance or music or playing the cello or pottery, and that's all going on in your backyard. So I would encourage anyone that's not in Parks and Rec, first of all, consider this as a great career path that gives a lot back to you. But just maybe Google what your city offers, and you're going to be blown away by the programs that you could enroll your children in. That's not just soccer. And I think that's what we think Parks and Rec is. They cut the grass, they build a little playground for a mom to bring the kids out to, and they have like soccer tournaments. And that's just scratching the surface. I mean, what I just described might be like maybe 10% of what Parks and Rec does. So there's a 90% stuff that's going on in your backyard that you don't even know about. So definitely look up the Facebook page or the website of your local Parks and Rec department and see what you can do with your family. I talked to somebody yesterday that they have a great community center that's tied in with an aquatic center, a community center, and an active living, which is the new word for senior centers, so that families can come there and grandma can be doing yoga and the mom can be doing outlet at the playground, and the younger kids can be doing sports, all on the same facility. And there's tons of Parks and Rec departments that this is their setup, and it's just beautiful. So big shout out to all the people that have supported us so far. We've gotten tremendous support from directors across the country, and shout out to a lot of our vendors that are now supporting us. And so we're going to play a quick promo. One is just kind of a commercial for DPRS Media Network that showcases all the different shows that we produce each week. And then big shout out to Outdoor Link, one of our primary sponsors. If you have a smart home, wouldn't it be cool if you could have a smart city that operated a lot like your smart home? So just as the smart home can detect when your cell phone's getting close, and it can turn on the lights and turn on the AC and roll up the garage door. And so you can automate all these processes. Well, Outdoor Link helps a city do the same thing. So if you want to automate your entire city, and it's not expensive, I think one of their units is like $1,000, and you can control several football fields and splash pads and bathroom door locks, and not have to send like your superintendent on a Sunday night when a coach left the lights on and grandma's calling because they're the neighbor of the park and the lights are shining right in her bedroom stuff. And so all that can be completely automated. It's a really great company, and I'm personal friends with the founder there. So thank you so much for supporting the show. And if you want to know more about them, hit me up on LinkedIn and I'll get you in touch with Dave and Tasha and the whole team there. So Jovi, why don't you go ahead and play those 2 promos, and when we come right back, we'll start our conversation with Anthony.
Welcome to DPRS Media Network, the voice of parks and recreation professionals, where leadership grows, facilities thrive, and communities connect. Leadership Series, insights from the leaders shaping our industry. Facility Maintenance, the backbone of safe and sustainable spaces. Young Professionals Network, empowering the next generation of parks and rec leaders. The Rec Room, real conversations, real stories, real impact. Youth Sports Mastery, elevating the game for athletes and communities. Smart Parks Forward, innovation driving the future of recreation. On the front line, honoring those who serve our communities every day. Athletes Commute, the journey behind the performance. The Aquatics Life, everything aquatics, safety, staffing, sustainability. Safe Spaces and Green Spaces, a show exploring the connection between nature and mental well-being. And we don't just tell the stories, we show up where it happens. From local gatherings to national parks and recreation conferences, DPRS Media Network is on the ground, capturing conversations, highlighting innovation, and amplifying the voices shaping our industry's future. DPRS Media Network, connecting parks, empowering people, inspiring communities.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. And even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
All right, let's go ahead and bring Anthony up. All right, Anthony, how's your week treating you over there?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Actually, in Minneapolis today will be 71 degrees, so
Wow.
that's
That's
pretty
great.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then it's going to be cold again. Typical
Y'all face
Minnesota weather, right?
Yeah, y'all face some really cold weather up there. I got a chance to attend Chicago's convention at the end of January. It was -8 when we got out at the hotel. And I was just brutal compared to a New Orleans boy is not used to that heat. That's cold weather that y'all face.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah. Now you are a rec facility supervisor, correct? Why don't you maybe tell a little bit about how you got into the industry of parks and recreation and how many years you've been serving the community?
Okay. So back in 1991, I was going through school and I was hired by the park director in our neighborhood to be a youth sport coach, teaching like fundamental programs. And so that's how I got started. And going through school, I did that as part-time job. And eventually in 1994, I was detailed as a park director. And so I end up managing the facility and eventually becoming a full-time staff in 1995. And here we are, 31 years later.
Wow.
I'm still with the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you know were you active in Parks and Rec as like a high school or grade school kid?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my family and I moved here to the United States when I was 11 years old,
Uh,
and that's when I first got introduced to Parks and Rec. And from participating in youth sports, rec programs, as an immigrant, it gave me that sense of community, right? And I thought it was the best thing ever. I was at the park every day. And so I think most of people who grew up in Minneapolis have a lot of experiences with parks because we have 49 rec centers across the city, right?
mhm.
And they even say that there's, what is it, every 8 blocks, there's a park by your
Oh my
house. And
gosh.
so, yeah, yeah. And so I think that a lot of kids, most kids, do have some experience or grew up in parks as youth. So that's how I got introduced to Parks and Rec and, didn't really know what it was in the beginning. And so,
Mm,
but it was definitely a big part of my childhood. So,
yeah. What country did y'all immigrate from?
Philippines. I'm from the
Oh, no
Philippines.
way. We have a couple
Yeah.
of people in the Philippines that work. A couple of our video editors are on there. Actually, our stage manager is in the Philippines right now, Jovi, who's helping us manage
Oh, okay.
all the stage and stuff. Beautiful country. Some of the best beaches in the world, maybe the best beaches in the world.
Yeah, we were just there in January for 2 weeks. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was nice.
I love it. I can't wait to go visit. And I was talking to a girl named Gabby out in California, but she's from Venezuela, and she said in Venezuela they just don't have parks, and
Right.
so it's. I think a lot of times we kind of take for granted that parks is just part of the community in America in every little city, but that's not so in most countries. Don't have parks departments that put on if they have a park, they're not putting on programming or aquatic centers or offering something for seniors. It's something that kind of like a national treasure that sometimes we take for granted because it's always been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, that was my first introduction to parks. And I think, even now with Minneapolis demographics constantly changing, right? I feel like, that's one of the things that we need to do is introduce what parks are. They see this big old building and they don't really know what it is.
Uh,
Should I go in? What's in there? So I think that, with the background, I think that that's key is introducing
yeah.
the new folks in our community what parks are all about.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely glad to have you and your family in this country forever, hopefully. The Filipino culture has got to be the happiest people I've ever met in my life. I don't know what y'all are eating or taking over there. Maybe it's just the beaches and the sunshine that's constantly bathing y'all constantly.
It's the food, Craig. It's the food. It's
Yes.
awesome food. Jeez.
Yeah. That it is. They have a great food culture there. Okay, so let's go into like what's the day-to-day life like as a rec facility supervisor?
So the rec center or community center I'm assigned at is called Phillips Community Center in Minneapolis, which is the biggest building we have in the
Mm,
system. So as you previously mentioned, some cities have their community center, aquatic center, um, and so it's a lot of building management because there's just a
mhm,
lot of moving parts. And what's unique about Phillips Community Center is it's the only multi-tenant building we have in Minneapolis. So
mm,
aside from carrying out, recreation activities, managing staff, I'm also a landlord to our tenants. And so
Ah,
it keeps me busy, but it's a lot of fun because there's just a lot of moving parts, and I like that. And you gotta have to figure out the flow, right? Because there's so many people in the building for many types of reasons, and so it's just kind of coordinating everything so everything works well together. And yeah, I love
yeah.
it. I love it. I've been doing it for 31 years.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about those kind of third parties, because especially like with special events, I've even had some people on the show that they don't run the farmers market. They just kind of get rid of all the red tape and they find a third party that will come in and run the farmers market, but they don't obviously have to acquire the land. They're not maintaining the building or the sites or whatever, or the electricity or whatever that comes into the vendors and stuff. So it's kind of they do the part that they're good at, which is managing the building, financing and owning and building the structures. But then you have this third party that comes in and kind of runs the farmers market or the program or stuff. So what are some of the third party, I guess, tenants that you have in your building?
So our anchor tenant is a pretty big organization called Weight House, which is
Hmm.
with Pillsbury United, and they provide a lot of social services. And
Mm,
so our job is to collaborate and work together so that we're not duplicating programs in the building.
mm,
If they have a computer lab, well, we also have a computer lab, but we can't offer the same program, so we're not competing for the same
mm,
customers per se. And what I love is being how their social services, they also have a food shelf, right? They
mm,
provide produce days, they have a lunch program. So we can kind of incorporate some of our programs towards that, but staying within recreation.
mm,
And so I love my building because it's kind of like your one-stop shop, right? You can go swimming, you can go come for recreational programs, but there's also social services. And one of our other tenants too is the neighborhood group who closely works with us. And so with that partnership, it is truly your one-stop shop.
right.
Anyone can come in, and I wouldn't say we can provide all the programs or
Right.
all the needs, but we'd like to think we can. So
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's the relationship financially? Like obviously y'all provide the structure of the building, you maintain the building and stuff, and they just pay like rent, and then they're able to kind of bring their programming in and charge what they need to or offer their services to kind of help the community out.
yeah, correct. So each organization has their own funding, source, and the only thing that they're responsible for, as you mentioned, is the rent.
Mm,
So we try to collaborate because we can provide different resources, and so when we partner, for example, Weight House might want to do Toys for Tots and hand out toys for the kids.
mhm,
Well, they might not have the space like we do, such as the gym. So if we partner in offering that program, I can say, well, we can provide the gym, and then they will try to fundraise or get the toys from an organization. And that's how we kind of work together. But each organization definitely has their own funding.
mm. Now, I'm sure you may have had a tenant that over the years just didn't quite work out. Maybe what do you look for in the qualities of a good partner to bring on as a tenant and offer the services they offer?
Well, we try our best to have the same mission and visions as the Minneapolis Park and Rec,
Hmm.
making sure that they're providing services to the community. And that, like I said, the goal of our superintendent was he wanted our building to be like a one-stop shop where if you come
Mm,
here, are you providing services to the community? And again, if it's the same visions that we have, I mean,
you-
the decision is above me, right? I just,
right,
uh, I just,
right.
I'm the landlord of the on-site management of the building, but that's typically the goal is to look for an organization who kind of provides services to the community.
Yeah. And so what are the kind of requests that you're getting from them as far as what you provide for them as a landlord? Obviously, you keep the electric bill going and AC going, but what are the kind of requests that you're getting? Do they ever come to you and say, hey, we'd like to offer a computer lab, but we need this space and there's kind of what our needs are? What's the kind of interaction there?
Right, right. So before moving in, obviously we'll look at the space. We have the space in the building. And before even a lease agreement is signed or anything like that, they would, we would ask what kind of programs will be in that room. And when the program is up and rolling, and like most tenants that we've had in the past, everyone seems to kind of run out of space because programs become bigger and bigger. And so
Mhm.
that's when we kind of work together because we also have space that we can offer in partnership in offering their programs. And so typically it's a lot of collaborating with tenants. And so and that's what I love about it.
Hmm. Fantastic. And so so describe y'all's facility, for those that don't know, what's the scope and the breadth of everything that you offer? What's the square footage? What do y'all have in house?
Well, as I mentioned, the our park, our my community center was an old middle school, right? So it doesn't look like your typical park building. We
Mm.
don't have much outdoor space or green space. It's pretty much it. Looking at our building, it looks like a high school almost. So,
Ah, okay.
and when you walk in, a lot of cinder blocks, and the way the rooms and the hallways are
Uh,
designed, it's an old school, right? So
right.
it's very unique. But at the same time, within our building, we have tenants, we have an aquatic center, we have a fitness center. And again, it's the only fitness center that we have actually open to the public in all 49 parks in Minneapolis. And so the setup of the building, if you could picture a high school, that's what it looks like. We have a very big gym,
Hmm.
and back in actually the middle school had closed down in 1982, and after that the Boys and Girls Club ran it until 2009, and the building was set for demolished to be demolished. And the park board decided, you know what, we'll renovate it and let's try this multi-tenant building and see how it goes. And we reopened in 2012. And so
Ah.
that's really the vision is, we have this big building. What can we do with it? And it's very unique because, like I said,
Mhm.
it's the only one in all 49 parks in our system.
Wow. All right. So I'm curious, if you had to design one from scratch and had like an unlimited budget, how would you design one, purpose built to kind of do the same thing you're doing now, but, not trying to make a high school do what you do. But if you had to kind of had like a open blank canvas, what would you want it to look like?
Well, I would love to have like a big lobby, right, where people can kind of congregate, come in and look at the building. Because most schools, like our building is designed, doesn't have that. You
Right.
walk in and right away it's a hallway. Here's the
Right.
school office, and the school office is now our front desk, right?
Right.
And so I would like to have like a lobby area, where you can see the whole building. But we're slowly getting there. We have a Spark Studios coming. Actually, they're going to start construction here in April, early April. And the Spark Studio is going to be like a multimedia technology space
Oh, nice.
for career readiness for kids. And that's going to be right by our main entrance. So it's almost like a small park within a park. And so I'm very excited to have that open. And so slowly we're getting there, right? I'm envisioning the building, how it's going to be. I've been there 10 plus years, and so it's slowly evolving into this building that I've always envisioned. And again, the Spark Studio is going to be, I believe, one of seven in all 49 parks.
Wow. Okay, so tell me more about that. What is Spark Studio? What's your mission and vision around that? Where did that idea come from? And kind of, if you could describe it for people.
Yeah, so it's our superintendent's vision in offering like a multimedia technology space for mentorship. They're going to have Mac desktops, sound booth, audio. And again, it's for career readiness for youth.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the future of Parks and Rec, right? Like we're
Yeah.
gonna offer all these to get not just to offer recreational programs, but how can we get kids ready for their future?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Before the show, I was watching, I don't know if you've ever watched Peter Diamandis. He's like the Abundant Summit. And he had, I forget, it was the CEO of Google for a while there, Eric Schmidt. And he was saying universities need to, on every freshman needs to take these classes on essentially, it sounds like what y'all are describing is preparing them to use all the AI tools, all the large language models. And Peter looks at him and says, why don't we do it for high school? It's just like a no-brainer, because these are the tools that now you almost have to use to be able to participate in the job market, is to be very well versed in it seems like a lot of what y'all are trying to accomplish over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that's the goal, right? It's building creative skills.
Yeah.
From using video cameras to 3D printers, audio
Yes.
stations. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So,
I love it.
and if they don't go into that career or profession, it's fun to be in there and just to kind of mess
Oh,
around with all those tech stuff we have, from a recording studio. What teenager would want to be in a recording studio
yes.
and,
It's cool.
and give it absolutely. And like I said, we're going to have 7 of them in Minneapolis, and Phillips is going to be one of 7.
Yeah. Now, is anybody else across the country, have y'all discovered, is kind of doing this that y'all are modeling after, or are y'all kind of leading the pack here?
I'm sure that someone nationwide has done it, but I know that this has always been a vision of our superintendent, working with city officials and promoting it and raising money. And here we are. And I think, and we are the 7th park who's having it. And so
Yeah.
we're the last one. And so it's coming into fruition, and it really is happening. But it all started from our superintendent's vision. And I'm not sure if it was from an NRPA, but
Yeah.
he just thought that this is the future of recreation.
Yeah. Well, if he's not leading the pack, he's one of the top few, because I've spoken with probably well over 1,000 Parks and Rec professionals, and this is the first I'm hearing of it. And I usually try to dig deep. So they might be the first. If not, they're probably one of 5 that out there.
Yeah,
So
and it's pretty awesome, because if you go into our website and search Sparked Studio, there's a whole video on there. And I think there's even the Spark Studios on YouTube and what it's all about, and it truly is amazing. And like I said, just the opportunities we're providing for these kids, and just like I said, building creative skills.
Yeah. How long is that little video? Is it just like a 1 or 2 minute video? Kind of explains it?
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Jovi,
even
why
on
don't you
YouTube,
see if you, and how do you spell it? SP Spark?
SPARK apostrophe D Studio.
Okay, maybe when we get back from the break, we'll play that video to kind of,
Yeah.
give all these Parks and Rec departments ideas. That's what we're trying to do, is share the wisdom.
It's a good video, and it gives a little bit more detail. And I believe our superintendent's in there, and of how it came about and what his vision is, and what we want to accomplish.
And what's his name? The superintendent?
Superintendent's name is Superintendent Al Bangora.
Al Bangora. Okay, Jovi, go ahead and write that down. I want to try to get him on the show, and maybe we can do a whole show just on this, because I think this is definitely something worth sharing, because I believe it's the future as well. And I think he's right. This is the future of not just Minneapolis. This is the future of all Parks and Rec systems. And I think y'all can kind of lead the charge, create the model, and then we'll just copy it. Like, Parks and Rec are the best at copying other park systems ideas.
No, that's great. And he had developed and organized a whole department. Like Spark Studio has their own manager, and they have 7 full-time staff who are going to be managing this space. So basically, when the construction is done at Phillips, there's going to be a coordinator in there who's going to be running that specific space, which is going to be awesome. Because they kind of specialize in that programming. Oh yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait either.
Yes. Well, look, if y'all ever want to do like a weekly or a monthly podcast just on the Spark Studio and what goes on. Another thing that we discovered was STEM programs. So when you talk about programming, often what comes to mind is like sports. But we spoke with someone that's a professional ballet dancer, and in LA, she's able to offer her classes to lower income children that only the wealthiest of people would be able to afford her class. And she's able to do, thousands of little children through her ballet classes, all done through Parks and Recreation. And I think in the same way, we've got a guy up in Connecticut that's pushed 7,000 kids through their STEM programs at their community center. And same thing, they just kind of had something similar to what Spark is, but for performing arts or for STEM, is the possibilities are endless. You just got to kind of have the vision and go for it.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a little halftime break. Jovi, hopefully you can find that video for us and we can play that in the second half, learn a little more about that. And then I think you have like a radio station or something like that at Phillips Community Center.
We do have a radio station. Yeah, so we do have a radio station, but it's a program that is run by one of our tenants.
Oh, okay.
And so it's their program, but in partnership with us. And so they, in the summertime, they have a program where youth can go in there and kind of learn about, what it's like to run a radio station.
Yeah.
And,
we can talk about that for sure.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. And like I said, those are the opportunities and resources we have, being how we have tenants in the building able to partner with them.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about that when we come back. And then hopefully we can play the Spark video to kind of promote that a little bit more. But okay, so for our halftime break, we're going to play 2 promos that we made at CPRS. One's the California State Association, and then Illinois, which are probably the 2 largest state conventions outside of NRPA. I think maybe Texas and Florida are kind of hot on their heels as well. But we were able to attend those live, and we're really starting to, as part of what DPRS Media does, is not just create online content, but to attend these state shows and really cover these events, create promotions for them, and give people a taste of what they could be missing by not attending some of their state associations, because they really do some great work. Big shout out to all the 50 executive directors across America that are putting on the state associations each year. It's a huge workload, and I'm close personal friends with a lot of them, and they are like workhorses. And they don't do it for the money. They do it for the love of what they're doing and the impact that they're making in their communities, kind of serving the public servants. So, Jovi, why don't you go ahead and play those 2? When we come back, we'll finish up our conversation with Anthony.
It started with a shared purpose, a vision to bring people together, to inspire, to learn, and to lead. And at CPRS Conference 2026, that vision came to life. From every conversation to every connection made, this wasn't just an event, it was a community in motion. Ideas were challenged, perspectives were expanded, and leaders stepped forward, ready to shape the future of parks and recreation. At DPRS Media Network, we had the privilege of capturing it all. The passion, the innovation, the stories that deserve to be seen and heard. Because these moments don't just stay here, they ripple outward, into communities, into programs, into lives. To the organizers, the speakers, the partners, and every single attendee, thank you for showing up, for sharing your voice, and for being part of something bigger than all of us. This is more than a conference. This is a movement. And DPRS Media Network will continue to tell your story every step of the way. We'll see you at the next one. This year, we didn't just attend an event. We became part of something bigger. IPRA 2026 brought together leaders, innovators, and community builders, all united by one mission: to strengthen parks, recreation, and the people they serve. For DPRS Media Network, it was an honor to join IPRA 2026 and take part in meaningful, real-time conversations, capturing stories and amplifying voices that matter. To IPRA, thank you for creating a space where collaboration thrives and the future of parks and recreation is shaped together. We extend our deepest gratitude to Amelia and all our partners who made these live interviews possible. IPRA 2026 wasn't just an event, it was a reminder that when communities connect and stories are shared, impact follows. From all of us at DPRS Media Network, thank you, IPRA. Thank you, partners and sponsors. We're honored to stand with you and excited for what's next.
All right, so I think I got it pulled up. This is the Spark. Is this y'all?
Yes.
I think it is. Where is that video
is.
embedded? I'm trying to think where it's at on there, or maybe it's on YouTube. But
Yeah,
you can
I
kind of
thought it was on.
you can kind of see some of the pictures and images there. Like this must be like the sound studio. Yep, that looks very familiar. Similar to something I have on my desk. And so now this is already set up in 6 of the other parks.
Yes, and the construction at Phillips Community Center will begin early April, and with projected opening sometime in the fall here in 2026.
Yeah, there's 3D printing. I love 3D printing. We homeschooled our kids, and we did a lot of 3D printing. We tried to print robotic hands and stuff like that. It was really cool, kind of, to teach them. And then I see you've got
Right.
like what looks like a gaming studio. Yep.
Right.
Do y'all have a gaming studio already then?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I'm very excited to, have everything and just having nice technology equipment and the kids, it's all for the kids. And Phillips is, Phillips Community Center is in the Phillips neighborhood in Minneapolis, which is one of the most diverse and low income neighborhoods in Minneapolis. And so I'm just so happy to be able to offer this, to our community.
Now, what do you think it's on YouTube? Where would I look? I want to try to find it and see if I can play it.
I would just guess again. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I would assume it'd be under Spark Studio Minneapolis or Minneapolis Spark Studio. Yeah.
How do you spell that? SPAR
K
K.
apostrophe D.
Oh, Sparked. Okay,
Sparked Studio
Studio.
Minneapolis.
Let me try to spell Minneapolis correctly because I will misspell something like nobody's business. Man.
Yeah, hopefully you find it.
What comes
It's a great video.
Oh, I found it. Okay, let me share a screen with it. It's gonna be cool. Let's see. We'll boot that one off, and then let's see. I can share screen. Stop screen share. Sorry, I'm still learning how to work this technology on my end. This is it. That looks like the one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go full screen on it.
So I've been asked many times about why we opened Spark Studios or these creative studios. And very simply, it's meeting young people, in particular where they are today.
I come to the park like mostly every day.
Every day after school.
I think I come here every single day.
The place where we can all come along together and have fun and feel safe.
It's like one big family here.
We're taking buildings and we're transforming them. They're going to be in these spaces. They're going to be creating and imagining and innovating and learning and growing in ways that has been different than what we've been doing to this point. It starts to let kids kind of imagine where their careers can be, expose them to opportunities in careers, whether it's in STEAM or architecture, design, micro-entrepreneur businesses, music, documentary work, with the professionals in the room, with the mentors in the room, and so that we can expose them to careers and open up the doors of the possibilities. In the business world, our youth are our future, and we always talk about that. So this investment was really critical and important for us to really look at something unique, and for me to go out and say, this is a real change fundamentally on how we reach youth. So Spark Studio is just one example of the investment, the millions of dollars we're investing into our young people, into something that really inspires them.
I do like to build stuff once in a while.
I would like to learn to make a website and more coding.
Yeah, my kid is obsessed with YouTube. I mean, he wants to be a YouTube star.
Esports, I game a lot, and sometimes like I record myself like playing and streaming.
I like to learn more about sound studios.
I do music myself, so that'd be a good thing for me.
There's going to be like coding, and like people can work on websites, and I feel like the computers can be a great way for people to also use just for like homework. And so I think it's going to be a great resource for kids to explore different interests that they have.
I'm excited about the studio and how there's gonna be like a lot of people coming, because I told my siblings about it and they were like really excited. You guys should go on TikTok.
I have an idea for a name though, like Spark Studios.
What's the Spark Studio?
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. That was good. Great little video. Yeah, we definitely need to try to collaborate with them and kind of get the word out, because that is such a great idea. And y'all really may be leading the charge there. So we'll try to reach out to them and say we can do a special episode on them, try to share that idea, because that's profound.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. And I'm super glad you found the video, because
yes,
I wasn't able to articulate it as much as the video kids. So.
Yeah, we get really good at Google searches and YouTube searches, because that's kind of our business is creating content, finding content, getting the word out there, distributing the content. And so we want to get the efforts that y'all are doing as much airtime as possible, as much distribution as possible. Okay, so tell me a little bit about this, the radio station kind of partnership y'all have, and how long has that been going on, and kind of what have y'all done so far?
Okay, so one of our tenants is Weight House, and they are the ones who's managing this radio station, which is KRSM, which is an FM station in Minneapolis, and it's mostly a community-based radio station, and in our partnership with them, we've been able to have youth participate and learn more about the operation and how to conduct shows on a radio station, and giving them that experience. And so similar to what Spark Studio is going to be offering, but this is an actual radio station that we've partnered with.
Yeah, and there's a huge workload that goes. I mean, speaking from someone who's trying to build a 24/7 network for an industry, it wasn't until I started building this about a year ago that I realized, when you look at a massive organization like ESPN or CNN or some of the cooking channels, the workload it takes to put on, and as viewers, we just see like the finished product. We don't see the mountain of effort and work and technology and producers and film editors and script writers that these would all be potential jobs for people coming out of your Sparks program, that they could actually have a career in that. And now it's so much more cost efficient to build a network like we're doing than it was back when CNN started or ESPN started. You can imagine trying to put on like, all right, at 5 p.m. we're going to talk basketball, and we got like Shaquille O'Neal and Berkeley and all those kind of guys up there. But then that's great. You've covered 1 hour, 168 hours to go, 167 hours to go. And maybe you can have some reruns, but a lot of these are like every day they're just hitting it content 24/7. It's just a massive undertaking, but this is how we get the word out about what goes on in Parks and Rec. And there really is an entire community within America that this is their livelihood. And then if you amplify the 350,000 Parks and Rec professionals times probably 2 or 3 or 4, Now you've got your part-time workers, then you've got all the volunteers, and then you've got every child that participated in some form or fashion in Parks and Rec programming, and then all the special events. I mean, we're talking millions of people that are touched by the Parks and Rec community. And so I definitely think it's an untold story, and we're definitely here to tell it. And I love to hear the work that y'all are doing out there. It's just amazing. All right. So I'd like to dig a little bit towards the end of our show about your personal why. You know, why have you continued year after year to show up and dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? How is this kind of pouring back into you, and why do you find it fulfilling?
Well, with the neighborhood that I'm currently working at, every day you truly see that you're making a difference, right? You're truly helping people. You're making an impact in youth work, and that alone is, I mean, you want to make a difference, right? Like I said, I've been here for 31 years. I'm closer to retirement than when I started, and you learn that it's about relationships, you know, whether it's with the community, your staff, and you just constantly making an impact in their lives, and we are, you know, we're making a difference, such a difference that, and it's different every day. And that's what I love is I come in and I'll be hit with something that I didn't even expect that I was going to have to tackle that day. And sometimes the decisions you make, words you say, makes an impact in people's lives. And that's, I guess that's what keeps me going is, you know, is making a difference.
And let's talk about the different populations that you affect, whether it's, maybe we start with like the seniors. How do they use your facilities, and how is it essential to their, you know, day-to-day way of life?
So we have a senior group that meets at our center, and they will have breakfast, they will serve food, they will have coffee. They often play bridge. They even have a kind of segue to like a different bridge club in our rec center, which those group people would just, you know, seniors would just play cards. And we also offer field trips for them, you know, we have a park vans. And so we would take them on trips, you know, wherever they would like in the city.
Yeah.
And so we have that senior programming. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to Wesley King on our last episode. By the way, if you haven't caught his show, it's every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, all on aquatics. And he threw this statistic out there. He said, Craig, did you know that 70% of aquatic centers are funded, as far as the membership component, are funded by the seniors? He said they are the ones that keep the lights on, and they're here all the time. They're meeting with their friends. They're doing water aerobics or water yoga and stuff like that. And I was thinking it's like the swim lessons, or, you know, that's kind of what's funding. And he said, nope, it's the seniors. They're the ones that keep the lights on. They heavily use the facility, and it really is part of their life and their friend groups and all coming together. So they're a really big part of an aquatic center. And I'm assuming some of that is true also in the community centers as well.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we have a fitness center. So that also plays a big part with some of our seniors in the center. And we also have a walking group where we play music in the gym, and we have a very large gym, and they would just walk on the outside while we play music. And
I love it.
It seems simple, but you know, it's entertaining for them, and it's a way to, you know, get them together. And with these Minnesota winters that we have, you know, it seems simple but very effective.
Yeah. I think I wrote down y'all spent like $9 million on your fitness and aquatic center recently, or how long ago did y'all kind of finish that project?
Yes. Well, it slowly came about, you know, like when we first moved in 2012, the aquatic center didn't come for maybe 5-6 years later. But yes, we did spend, you know, that much to kind of renovate the building and make it what it is today.
Yeah. Okay. And then how about, like, let's just say the after school programs where you've got like maybe a single mom or somebody that, you know, this is kind of halfway babysitting, halfway they want their child to have their life enriched. You know, what do y'all offer for the kids that are coming after school?
So our rec center opens at 3 o'clock, but as I mentioned, we have tenants that provide services at 10 a.m. So, but most of the kids come after 3 when they get out of school. And when you walk in, we have design programs that are already happening. We have drop-ins, which is very popular in our center, where kids can just drop in and either do homework help in one of the community centers or go in the gym for elementary gym. We have fitness programs after school. So there's various programs for youth to come in after school. And aside from that, like I said, our tenants who are partnered with us, they also offer other programs during that time, and we work together so that we don't duplicate those programs. So what I love is when a youth comes to our building, there's many choices, many options that they can come and do programs. But what's very popular in Phillips neighborhood are the drop-in programs where just drop in, sign in, register, and do whatever the program is going on.
Right, right. Yeah, and it seems like a lot of Parks and Rec departments, they do well with the seniors, they do well with the moms and the younger kids, but we tend to just lose that high school, maybe even college generation. They just kind of disappear for a decade or two, and then they come back when they start their families and they kind of want to participate in Parks and Rec. And that's why I think Sparks is going to help fill that gap. Because this is something that I think is exactly what the high school kids and maybe even your younger college kids may want to use these facilities to kind of further themselves and get them back in the building, and not lose them for that decade that we kind of lose kids in their high school and college days. Is there anything else y'all offer aside from, because I know a lot of Parks and Rec departments, face this problem, man, we lose our high school kids. How do we get them back, and what kind of program do we offer for them?
Well, at Phillips, actually, teens are. It's quite popular with the teens.
Wow.
It's our and I think it's because the way the building is set up. We have a fitness center, so a lot of teens like to work out. So we offer like a youth fitness program right after school, and also our gym. Our gym is very popular where kids like to play basketball, and so within our neighborhood. We are more geared towards teens, actually. That's the most. Yeah, we serve more teens than any other age groups, and so, but 2 blocks away, it's more preschool kids. So it's almost like a hub. And there's another park that's not too far away that serves a lot more seniors than any other age group. So it's almost becoming where all the parks within our service area is a hub where, teens, they all go to Phillips Park. Seniors, send them over there. Even though we do offer, all programs for all ages. But we do have a lot of teens, and I think it's just because of the way the building is designed, the offers that we offer, that makes it pretty popular for teenage kids.
Yeah, I would love to do a couple of shows just on that one topic alone, because that is a huge struggle throughout America of losing their teens. And it seems like y'all have somehow cracked the code and figured out the formula to have a teens hub where you have like this magnet that's drawing them in. And man, if we can get that message out on how y'all did that, how y'all built it, and then what it looks like day to day, that would be something super valuable to the rest of the country, because that's a big issue.
Yeah, and when the Spark Studio opens up later this year, I mean, I can only imagine even being more busier.
Even better.
Because I mean, as you saw in that video, it's a lot of teens using the Spark Studio.
That is what we're looking to replicate across the country. What y'all have going over there is truly special. And so if no one's told y'all, I can tell you right now, after interviewing thousands of people in Parks and Rec, y'all are on to something great. Keep going.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have a little tradition at the end of our show. Our previous guest leaves a question, and it's crazy how these, when you're with a show, you have no idea who is going to answer your question, but it's almost like you do know, and you know their life story because they're all just lining up as far. So this one comes from Kevin Tuckett in Fort Worth, Texas. He is their field operations manager. And so he's had to sit on, you got the programming and the forward facing people, but then you also have to kind of like you're a landlord and you have a lot of just behind the scenes stuff going on. So in your opinion, which is harder to manage, the park operations side or the programming side? And maybe kind of speak a little on both of those.
Oh man, of course, the recreation side would say, of course, it's recreation.
Right.
And operations would obviously, no, not even close. It's operations, right? How about I put a little answer equally the day-to-day, work effectively. And no, because I see how hard they work, because my building, Phillips Community Center, is so big, and we have park keepers that try to keep it, keep it the way it is on a daily basis, from your pool to the fitness center. There's just so much room, so many rooms in the building that they have to maintain that I can't even imagine. So it's very tough. And of course, the recreation part, from planning to, to organizing, programming, evaluating all the programs that we have. And I would say it's equally tough for both departments.
Yeah, it really is two totally different hats, and they feed each other. I mean, you could have it very well maintained, well constructed, all the project management and everything's working fine, but no one's in your building. And then the programmers, where would they do their programs if these buildings weren't built and maintained? So they definitely feed each other, but it's two totally different skill sets. One's kind of on the craftsman skill of managing property and buildings and break fixes kind of stuff. And then even on the construction side. But then once all this is set up, the magic starts to happen once the programming comes in and just utilizes and has these thriving communities inside these structures that y'all maintain.
And you have to work together to find some success, right? You can't succeed without the other. And so, no, I truly believe that they're both equally tough.
Yeah. Okay. So what question would you like to leave for my next guest? Not knowing who they're going to be.
Okay.
Or
Right. Here's a big question for that I would ask myself, is that with cities evolving and ever changing, right? From demographics and just the way the cities are changing, how would you engage new demographics, immigrants, whatever, into your programming?
so with cities evolving, how would you engage with new demographics as they evolve
into your program?
Yeah. How would you engage with new demographics into your program? And so I'm curious, what's your answer to that question?
Is getting feedback, right? Because Minneapolis, when I first came here in the 80s, early 80s, the city has changed so much, and recreation has changed dramatically from then to what it is now. And so, as we previously mentioned or talked about, is that if someone were to walk into my building, how do I engage, how do I engage them into our programming? How do I introduce what we have to offer? Because it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. And so how do you get new communities engaged into your programming? Because you can't do the old cookie cutter programming that you used to do in the 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, because things have changed. People we serve have changed. The city have changed. And so how do you continuously keep people interested and engaged into your programming?
Yeah, because I guess in the early days of this country, the immigrants were the English and the Irish and, some European countries. And then fast forward to where we are today, we have like huge Latino populations and African populations that have different cultures that you're having to kind of serve them in their way. And I know I've spoken to a lot of people kind of in southern United States that have massive Latino, Spanish speaking culture. And of course, they're huge into soccer and a lot of their festivals and stuff like that. And their food vendors are completely different. So how do you or what's the kind of feedback you're getting from them? Oh, we might have lost him for a second. We'll give him a chance for it to come back on. Let's see if it pops up. I guess while I'm waiting for him, I'll talk about we've been speaking with Connecticut, so it looks like we are going to be attending the Connecticut Parks and Rec. Hold on, I'll hop him off. So it looks like we are going to be attending Connecticut. We're kind of pushing that one. We've got we may be attending Arizona, and we may also be attending Utah as well. Oh, it looks like we got Anthony back on. See if we can get him to answer that question. Okay, so what were you saying?
Oh, sorry, I lost you there for a second. Yeah, no, I don't know where I got cut off or whatnot, but yeah, no, it's just like I said, at Phillips Community Center, one of the biggest challenges getting different demographics and communities engaged into one recreation program, right? From Native Americans to Latino, Hispanic community to East Africans. It's like you got to offer something that would engage all different communities into one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if that's where we had left off.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
That's
what we were looking to hear. Perfect. Okay. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing with us. God, I think this is going to spin off several shows. Hopefully we can get, let me type in, what was the name of the superintendent again?
Al Bangura.
And how do you spell that?
Al, and then Bangura is Bangoura.
Oura. And Al is just AL?
AL, yep.
Yeah, correct. Okay. And he is the superintendent.
Yes.
Okay. We're definitely going to reach out to him and see if we can get the word out of all the success y'all are having there, because y'all have cracked the code that we've been trying to crack as an industry forever, which is how do we get teens thriving in our community centers and such. So that's definitely something we want to get the word out. But yeah, appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing your story. And yeah, keep going. Y'all are doing a great job.
Thank you for having me, Craig. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a great rest of your week.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Wow. That was an amazing show. We definitely need to get the word out on what they're doing over there in Sparked. We hear a lot of great stuff coming out of all the different park systems that we cover, and just sitting where I'm sitting, covering what's going on across the country, you get these pockets, and some people just don't realize that they are literally leading the charge in different areas of parks and recreation. And one thing I love about the Parks and Rec community is they are the first to just share. I'm sure Al would not care with distributing the game plan of how they got started with other cities. And this is pretty much how the park systems of America was built. This is not a very reinvent the wheel kind of community. If they'll go to their state association or NRPA, they'll hear a presentation that SAL might give at NRPA, and then they'll catch him off stage. And then next thing you know, he's like sending them the roadmap so that they don't have to start from ground zero, and then they can kind of make it their own. And so that's really one of the things that we wanted to do, is facilitate the sharing of all the knowledge and wisdom of how we create successful community centers, programs, and pretty much they're in the business of building community. So we want to help get the word out. So really appreciate the work that they're doing over there. And thank you so much for coming on the show today, Anthony. All right. So that's all we have for today. We don't have a 1:30. Usually we have the rec room on second Wednesdays. And then Thomas, one of the people over there in Georgia, very talented Parks and Rec professional. He does a safe spaces where we talk about neurodivergent. That's kind of our Wednesday 1:30 show. But tomorrow we'll have the leadership series. We'll also have the Youth Sports Mastery Show with Aaron Locke. So if you're into youth sports and you want to see one of the greatest youth sports people in America that is so connected, and he gets some of the best coaches and athletic directors to talk about why rec is so important. And has even started this whole campaign about why rec. Why is rec sports so important? And, because it seems like for a while there, we were all just focusing into the highly competitive youth sports where we're talking about creating the next D1 athlete. But really, Parks and Rec is about involving all levels of athleticism and children in youth sports. Even though they might be the next great engineer, there's so many great life lessons to be learned in youth sports. And a lot of kids would not get the exposure to playing on a team, learning how to lose well, learning how to work together, because they're not maybe the most athletic child, but they might be the next great cellist or something like that. And so it's important that we involve our children of all levels into rec sports, and really the Parks and Rec department is many times the only opportunity these children would have to be put on a team and learn how to play baseball or soccer or flag football or volleyball or anything else. So that's really important. And he kind of covers this every Thursday. So every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, tune in to the Youth Sports Mastery Show with host Aaron Locks. And he has a great company, the National Academy of Athletics, where they actually partner with Parks and Rec departments to help run a lot of these programs turnkey. So if that's something you're interested in, hit me up on LinkedIn. I'll help get y'all in touch with Aaron. And then it looks like we have a couple of really talented show hosts for our Youth Sports Mastery Show that will be airing that regularly. And that's going to be 5 p.m. every Thursday. We have something for the young professionals of the Parks and Rec community across America, really highlighting what it's like because I mean, if you're a Parks and Rec professional, if you can reflect back to those first few years, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much to be done, so many skills you got to develop within yourself to be really good at as a Parks and Rec professional. And so we wanted to kind of give them their own space. And big shout out to Gabby Vera and Molly Keys, who kind of helped run the YPN for NRPA. That just, if you are a Parks and Rec professional new to the industry and you're not involved in the Young Professionals Network that NRPA offers, and many states are starting to offer, have their own YPN for the state. And so these chapters are starting to spin up, and some of them are on our 3rd or 4th year. I think NRPA's YPN is, coming up on their 9th or 10th year. And so definitely it's a way to get involved and then also get connected to a mentor that might be in your position for the last 20, 30 years and kind of help you as you kind of navigate your way and on your journey into Parks and Recreation. So that's a show that goes every Thursday. And then Friday, we have our newest show, our latest edition, which is the Aquatics Life, hosted by Wesley King. I would say he's one of the greatest aquatic specialist in America, highly sought after speaker, and just has a huge depth of knowledge around aquatics, lifeguards, how to conduct a swimming pool. And we had a great show. If you missed last week's show, it was amazing. And so we're going to do another one of those this coming Friday. And if you are an aquatic center director, that's the show for you. We would love to highlight your career and what you do day to day in running your aquatic center. We got 52 shows a year to highlight all things aquatics. That's every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, so that's kind of all I have for y'all today. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see y'all here again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.
Before the game, before the lights, before the pressure, there's a moment most people never see. Welcome to The Athlete's Commute, a podcast distributed by DPRS Media Network, co-produced by Her Sports, and hosted by Jordan Ziff. Each episode, Jordan gets behind the wheel, driving athletes to practice, to training, to game day, while getting to know who they really are beyond the jersey. The mindset, the grind, the sacrifices, the moments no one talks about. No scripts, no filters. Just real conversations in real motion. Because every athlete has a journey, and every journey deserves to be heard. This is The Athlete's Commute. Buckle up.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product? Growing your presence in public spaces? Targeting cities, counties, or departments? DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion Parks and Rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.